Megan McLovin, coming to your life.
Oh, you know I'm coming.
Megan McLovin, coming to your life.
Am I saying it right?
People, don't be stupid. I said people,
Touch your name.
don't be stupid. Ooh, I wanna love you long, love you strong. Love you long, love you strong. Megan McLovin, coming to your life.
I know I'm talking good.
Hey y'all, it's Megan McLover. This is episode 4, which is actually a continuation of episode 3, Depression, Really? So this is part 2. Contact 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255. If you're having, suicidal thoughts or really battling with what you believe is depression. You can also go to talkspace.com, TALKSPACE.com. It's a really good place as well to get some immediate help if you're looking for a counselor. I am not yet a licensed therapist. However, I am a counselor and I do mentorship. So you can contact me on my website, www.meganmclover.com, to further email me and talk to me, reach out to me if you want to do some further discussion. So let's get into this episode, shall we? Depression. Really? Church is depressing. I'm just going to go ahead and just say it. Church is depressing if you're not going to the right church. And I say that because it is yet another reminder that you have no control over yourself, no control over your life, over your body, over your feelings, even going as far to say that your feelings aren't to be trusted. Church really leaves you with a sense of helplessness and extreme victimhood. Waiting for someone or something to come and save you is really, really dangerous. And we as a culture, we have that real bad. This whole waiting for some dramatic, catastrophic event to come in and save us is really, really dangerous because it relinquishes you of your power. You're giving up your choice. So Locus of Control, which is by Julian B. Rotter, in personality psychology, locus of control is the degree to which people believe that they have control over the outcome of events in their lives as opposed to external forces beyond their control. So let me say that again. Locus of control is the degree to which people believe they have control over. So it is how much you believe you have control over the outcome or the events in your lives, as opposed to external forces. External means having control over the outcomes of the events in your life. So if you have relinquished your locus of control, and or if your locus of control is all off, you will have some serious helplessness, hopelessness, depression feelings, symptoms, stuff like that, because you feel like you have no control over your own life, thus being helpless, hopeless. Self-efficacy is an individual's belief in their innate ability to achieve goals. So when Albert Bandura started studying self-efficacy, it was realized that some people don't have a strong understanding or a strong foundation of belief in themselves and their own ability to accomplish something. Okay, so if you don't have a locus of control and you don't have a very strong self-efficacy, you are just existing. You're not really living a life. Okay, life is happening to you. You're not happening to life. You know what I mean? So this whole idea of your safety saving grace. Everything you need is in the hands of someone or something else, depending on how you act. They may or may not give it to you. It's hogwash, right? So if church is giving you the idea, and this is not against church. This is just the second part of are you really depressed, or are you just in situations that make you feel bad about yourself, causing depressive symptoms? Okay. So I like church. I don't go to church, but I like it. I just haven't found a place in which I want to return. But church in and of itself is not bad. It's not good if it is causing you to feel bad about yourself. Come on and touch your neighbor. So if you are going to a place, okay, and they are teaching you and constantly hammering into your head that the only way you are going to be safe, and the only way that you are going to remain healthy, and the only way that you are going to go to heaven, and the only way of all these different things depends on how you act. And if you don't act in a certain way, regardless of your feelings, regardless of your emotions, regardless of your urges, regardless of whatever, if you don't act a certain way, then this entity, God or universe or however you want to put it, may or may not take away your safety and your grace and your livelihood. Well, that is very depressive and can make it almost impossible to breathe. How can you function with the strong arm of an entity which you cannot see, can't really hear, not sure that it exists, is constantly threatening you and your normalcy, because a lot of the urges and behaviors and so forth and so on that you have are normal behaviors for you? How can you debate? How can you have a conversation with? How can you come up with any type of understanding with something that is oblivious? Okay, so this is not a conversation about whether God is or is not real. This is a conversation about taking away your choice. This is your life. This life is yours. Your purpose belongs to, you may have a purpose that belongs to God or to the people or whatever, but the choice is yours. And that choice is your power. Does that make sense? So depression can, if you look at it that way, depression can be mistaken for a longing, right? A longing of self-efficacy, a longing of knowing that you're strong enough, you're capable enough, you're talented enough, you're gifted enough, you're safe enough, you're loved enough to make things happen for yourself. Depression can be mistaken for a longing for love, for acceptance. If you don't think that you're good enough for someone or good enough to be loved, or if you have been shamed all your life because of different situations, whether it's your parents didn't show a lot of appreciation for who you were, or maybe you had a hard time at school, et cetera, et cetera. If you don't feel good enough, that can cause depressive symptoms. There are different things that can cause feelings of fear, feelings of grief, feelings of anxiety. And again, as I was saying in part 1 of this episode, depression has become trending. It's a trending word now to say, oh, that person is depressed. It's not, you may not necessarily be depressed. You may just need to stop going to church. And I'm serious. How can you find ways to really encourage your own self-efficacy? How can you find out if you're worthy. Number one, stop going to places and being around folk and watching things that make you feel less than. Stop seeking validation outside of yourself. Don't go to places that make you feel bad about yourself. If you are a homosexual, okay, and you go to a very, very strict apostolic church in the Bible Belt, then you know good and damn well they don't go for the homosexual stuff. And you have experienced the pastor saying very, very harsh and negative things about homosexuality. Whether you think it's right or wrong, whether he thinks it's right or wrong, it makes you feel horrible. So why would you keep going? You keep going to church for what? Because you think that's how you're going to get into heaven? I have news for you, sweetheart. That's not how you're going to get in. Okay? If it even, well, we ain't going to go there. But you understand what I'm saying. You're not going to get into heaven by making yourself feel worse and worse and worse and trying to force yourself through pain, through negative emotion and negative feelings about yourself and unworthiness. You're not going to force yourself into right behavior. That's not how that works. So stop going to places and being around people. If your family, and every time you go to a family reunion, somebody calls you a punk, a sissy, a dyke, a butch, or whatever, and it makes you feel horrible, then stop going to those family events where you know those particular persons are going to show up. Or tell the matriarch of your family, yo, it's either me or them. Either they're going to show up or I'm, not going to. If they're going to show up, I'm not going to show up. And if I show up, I don't want them to show up. You have to stand for yourself in order to start believing in yourself, if that makes sense. Okay? Number two, seek therapy because your friends are biased. Okay? So just because I think that as a culture, we kind of get it confused, where it's kind of like, well, I get it out. I talk about it. I talk to my friends, so I'm not just holding everything in. Well, honey, your friends are probably not capable of handling such conversations. And the bottom line is they're biased. They're biased. They're going to overcompensate. They're going to try to make sure that, oh yeah, girl, you damn right. Da, da, da. Yo, that may not be what you need. That may not be what you need. You may really need to speak with an educated therapist that can give you tools to help see and find your worthiness within. Meditate. I talk about meditation all the time. Meditation is such a beautiful tool and wonderful tool when trying to find and looking for self, looking for self-worth, self-confidence, self-esteem, self-efficacy. You really can find a sense of peace and awareness, self-awareness when you meditate. And I'm going to do a podcast to further discuss meditation, but please don't shy away from meditation. Don't think that you have to be a monk living in Tibet in order to meditate. Please don't think that you have to be at a park or you have to be in a temple or you have to be Buddhist. There are hundreds, probably thousands of YouTube videos that give guided meditation. So if you're listening to this podcast and you never meditated before, I would really like for you to do me a favor. Tonight, this morning, tomorrow morning, whatever, find a 10-minute guided meditation on YouTube. I don't care which one it is. It could be a guided meditation on appreciation, a guided meditation on gratitude, a guided meditation on thankfulness, a guided meditation on peace, whatever. Find a 10 to 15 minute guided meditation and do it for, I would like you to do it for 21 days, but do it for 7 days and email me. I want to know what happened. There's also guided meditation on let it go. Oh, those are so good. But let's start there, okay? Let's start with meditation. Really, really important. Do something every day to change the worthless narrator. So there's a narrative in your head that keeps telling you that you're not worthy. There's constantly something going on telling you you can't do it, you can't achieve it, you're not gonna make it. You're having this conversation in your head constantly. You need to change that narrative that's in your head. You need to change that. And the way to change that is by changing your behavior. So there's a constant, there's like an underlying conversation in psychology, and is it mind that change, is it thoughts that change behavior or behavior that changes thoughts? And sometimes you just can't change your thoughts first, right? So for example, let's say you're overweight, okay? And you really want to lose weight. You have been thinking about it for years. You have been using the law of attraction. I see myself. I visualize myself as being smaller. I visualize myself 50 pounds lighter, and this is the outfits that I'm going to wear, and this is where I'm going to go when I am 50 pounds smaller, and blah, blah, blah. So you've been using the law of attraction, and to be quite frank, the shit ain't working, right? Because you still have not lost the 20 pounds, the 30 pounds, the 50 pounds, however much weight it is that you want to lose. You keep saying, I'm going to go to the gym. I want to start working out. I want to develop my muscles. I want to do this and the other. And for the last however long, months, years, it's now June, and it's the middle of the year. And you started off with this New Year's resolution. You were going to do it, and you still haven't done it. Why? Because it's not as easy to change your thoughts in your head when you're constantly having negative thoughts running in the background, right? So like, for example, let's say if I had on some jazz playing right now, right? Just kind of faintly playing, just to kind of give this podcast a little ambiance, right? You probably wouldn't be paying thorough attention to the jazz unless maybe you knew the song. You're like, oh yeah, I know that song. That's such and such. Or maybe the horn like came up real loud, and then kind of like sparked your attention. Or if in between my words, there's some silence, and then you could kind of hear a little jazz coming in, right? But it's not going to be overtly loud because I'm doing a podcast and I wouldn't want music like all loud, because then you would have to decipher between the music and my voice, and I don't want that. Well, that's the same thing that's going on with this negative narrator, this worthless narrative that's going on in your head that's telling you, nah, you're not going to go to the gym. Nah, you're not going to eat right. Girl, you're not going to do that cleanse. You're not going to drink half a gallon of water today. It's this constant narrative. So that's why you don't get up in the morning and go to the gym. That's why you don't go to the gym right after work, because this constant narrative, oh, I'm so tired. I'm just so tired. So what you do is you change what you can, which is the behavior. This may sound crazy, but just go with me. Your behavior is your action. Period. It's not your thoughts. It's just flat out behavior. So in other words, let's say the narrative in your head, let's say you go to work at 9 o'clock. So you're going to get up at 6:30. You're going to do your 10, 15 minute of meditation. And then you're going to get over to the gym. That's what you decided. You get up, your alarm goes off in the morning and you're laying in the bed. And as you're laying in the bed, you start hearing, I'm so tired. I didn't get enough rest. I don't know what I'm going to eat. I don't feel like going to the gym. What am I going to wear to the gym? Blah, 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 right? You start hearing all this stuff. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll get up tomorrow. The next day, right? Okay. Those are your thoughts. And it's going to be damn hard to change those thoughts because they're running. I mean, they're just running constantly. Boom, 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 boom. They hitting you. You're having these thoughts without even, like, your eyes are not even open yet, and these thoughts are running through your head. But if you just open your eyes, turn your body to the side, put your feet down on the ground, and get up and go put on your clothes and go to the gym, that is you controlling your life and proving the thoughts wrong. Right? Don't think about your behavior. Just get up. If that's what you decide you're going to do. Oh, I'm going to get up and go to the gym. You don't even have to say that part. You literally just behave in what you already decided. What ends up happening is the more you do that, the more your behavior changes the thought, which then changes the narrative. So whatever it is that you say you're going to do, you need to just do it. Just do it. Don't think about it. Just do whatever you say you're going to do. And every day you do something that changes the worthless narrative in your head, the more confident you will become and the more you will feel worthy. Okay? Than just thinking about, every now and then, just a thought of, how are you going to die or something like that. Having a plan begs the question of, why do you feel so helpless? What makes you feel so helpless that a plan to end your own life is the only choice that you have? Is it possible that you can make a different choice? So depression that is untreated can definitely cause suicidal thoughts. If you're considering suicide, that's a choice. You're still making a choice. So regardless of how you flip it, you're still not helpless. You're still not hopeless. You still have power because you're still making that choice. And as long as you have power, as long as you have the power of the ancestors and angels and protectors and the opening of your third eye and your pineal gland, and every time you breathe, that's God. As long as you have that and you are aware of that, you can always make another choice, right? So when I ask the question of this episode, depression really, with the question mark, I'm asking you to choose something else. Choose a different behavior that will change the narrative. So the same power that takes an orphan and makes him into a CEO of a multi-million-dollar enterprise, the same power that takes a little girl who was raped by her father and makes her a best-selling author, that same power that takes a little boy who was brutally beaten by his mother's lover, made him a owner of a multi-acreage apartment complex phenomenon. That same power is in you. It breathes as you. There is only one power. There's only one source. The manipulation of that source energy is what brings about the questions, the narratives. How are you directing this power? How are you directing this source energy? But there's only one power. So if that power is taking people out of very depressive situations and breathing into them, breathing as them, these multi-million-dollar enterprises, and not just monetary things, but giving them a life and a family and a reason and a purpose and world travel and cultural exploration and understanding. If it's doing that for them, it's doing it for you. It's all about your choice. So get up every day and do something that makes you worthy of your own appreciation, your own self-appreciation, your own self-gratitude. You may not be depressed. You may just be sad. You may just feel kind of shitty, kind of crappy, because you're not doing anything that's changing the narrative in your head. Do something. When I don't feel my best, I go out for a run. I record a podcast. I do some research. I do some reading. I get up and do stuff that I need to do. I'll go and feed homeless people. I'll go and find somebody, some old person on the street, and talk to them and get some wisdom and get some knowledge. Do something, physically do something. Not think something. Physically in action. Cook something. Look at a YouTube and that teaches you how to paint something. Physically do a behavior that changes what you think about you. I promise you. You're going to feel so much better. All right, guys. I'll see you on the next episode. Go to my website. Don't forget. You got t-shirts there and all that good stuff. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Megan McLovin, coming to your life.
Am I saying it right?